Rolling.
Rolling?
Yeah.
You are known as a supporter from President Al-Sisi. Why do you run this election now?
Well, I used to be a supporter for President Sisi, which is very normal in a certain time, when he was going against other candidates. And once, and we support him against General Marshal Shafiq. And once Marshal Shafiq get out from the course of the elections, we decided as a party to step in and to do our task, because we used to have complete programs, and we were going to go into election about 10 months ago. We prepared ourselves for the election 10 months ago, and we had our programs. So we were waiting for the right time to go in. Once we find that there is strong candidates inside the course of the election, we decided not to go in. And then suddenly we find out that Shafiq withdrawn, and Hanan have been put out, and the others have withdrawn themselves. So we find it's a good opportunity for us as a party, Al-Ghad party, and myself, to step into the election. And this is the main concept for us, is to go and compete in strong elections, because we find that we are qualified to do something on that level.
What do you think? Is it not a strange thing when such a lot of candidates, or guy which will be a candidate, went out from the running election process?
This is a good question to ask them, because first of all, we did not understand why they have withdrawn. We didn't understand why Shafiq came in and stepped into the election and decided, and he mentioned that he's going to go into the election, and suddenly he withdrawn, and then others the same. So this was not really our concern and why they have went out. But we find it's a good opportunity for us, and we are ready for those elections. So we decided to go into the election and to do a proper election for our Egyptian people.
What is the difference? What is the difference in the political agenda between you and President Al-Sisi?
Well, the agenda is definitely, I haven't seen his new program or what he's going to present for us. And my program is already, we did it, and we have a good program, and we are just, actually those days we are preparing some additional items in our program. But I think the agenda, the difference of the agenda that I can see from our point of view, we are very concerned about the youth. We are very concerned about the jobs. We are very concerned about the new concept of how to make different approach in this country. We think that we want to make an amalgamation between the youth and the investors, let's call them like that, and the government. We don't want the young generation either acquire land or buildings, because this is not the aim we're looking for. We want them to acquire the possibility of doing the job inside the factories and get the machines and produce and export. So we have a program for them, but we don't want their investment or their money or the commitment they have to pay back is related to land and to building. So this is what we call a relation between the government or the country, or the responsible, if you want to say the banks or whatever it is, and the investors. So we want to make it a smooth approach, workable, while using existing things. We don't want to invent the wheel. We know that there's a few thousand of factories closed down for many reasons. The bank have acquired them back because of protecting the investment of the bank. So we think that having those kind of factories reopened and launch them by shares to the youth and to the young people with nominal prices for £5,000 a share, payable on credit for 5 years. Then the money, we're talking about 3-4 million young generation which will acquire the shares. So that will give a chance to the factories to work, to produce, subject that we're going to train them very well by getting the best experts in the world to give them a good training for how to manufacture the products capable for being exported, how we compete with China, Malaysia, India, Malaysia, all those countries that they're producing and exporting on high scale. So we want to produce the same ideas, the same concept, and get cheap product but high quality material. The prices will be acceptable for the international market, for Africa, etc. So if we train them and give them the proper training for the exporting, and give them the acquisition of the shares in those factories, so definitely those young generation will feel that they're working on their own belonging, and they can get a lot of money if they export, especially with the rate of the dollar today with the Egyptian pounds. That will give them a great chance to get the big income here.
Now you are in competition to President Al-Sisi. What kind of mistakes have he done in the past years? Are your points you will point President Al-Sisi?
I think the main concern that I have is that the infrastructure construction cost and heavy duty project, which is a very good sign, but it needs long term to recover and to get the income of it. So I think that if in a certain time we could have decreased a bit the size of those infrastructure building and construction costs, and focus on one or two projects, and give them the right push with those money invested to make those projects get the income, and people start to feel it, and the return will be quite different. So people will feel that maybe the cost is lower, and many things are very expensive now. So if something were done by decreasing the investment, the basic investment, and investing this money into the few projects selected, that definitely will change the whole story. It's not a mistake. It's a different approach which was taken, which I don't think it's my thinking.
What can you tell us about your political history and background?
My background is very simple. I'm from a political family. My father was founder of Talia Wafdeh in Al Wafd party. He used to be the chairman of not chairman, but the leader of the university. He had a different approach at the time, during the king and during the British invasion, etc. So he was taking the lead at the university, and he was leading all the students to revolt against what's not happening satisfactory for the country. At the same time, he made this committee related between the laborers and the students. So he was talking about the mass volume and the brains together in one committee, which became an international committee, and it gave a very strong background. And my father went to the parliament. He was the MP of Bab al-Sharia. He won. He was at the last year of the university. He was the youngest MP in the parliament, and he won against one of the very strong people in that area. So this is the background. So I'm born and educated inside a political family with a lot of action and national actions, if you want to say it. So this was the base. Then we made our studies. I made my study in the Jesuits school, the first school, and I finished at the lycée. And then we traveled, my brother and myself. We went to France. We went to the Beaux-Arts, École Polytechnique de Beaux-Arts, and we finished our studies there. It took about 6 years. And before the end, my father passed away, and we went down to Algeria, because my father had the office in Algeria was about 4,000 engineers and architects there. Half of Algeria was done by the Egyptian bureau of my father, and I went back there and I completed many projects outstanding, and I came down to Egypt and I opened the office here, and we started our business career. Then I went to the industrial projects. We have today around 5 major factories in Egypt. One of the majors in the building materials, in the painting, in the concrete admixtures. We have joint venture with BASF. We have a factory with them in Sadat City. We have a factory in Algeria with them. We have Skip company for painting, dry mix. So we made a very, very strong industrial projects, and we built it from scratch, starting from really zero. And then we have major partners from the specialized in the field of each of the factories, and they are managing greatly. And we have now a very solid and strong and high investment in this career. Then, meanwhile, 2004, I formed the Lad Party with Ayman Noor. We were both of us authorized to form the party, and we formed that party. Then, after a few months, Ayman Noor went to the election, presidential election. We were supporting him. But many things and many question marks, I don't want to evoke that point now, but 80% of the High Committee was not satisfied from many actions which we knew about it, and it was taking a decision to expel Ayman Noor from the party. When it was a young party yet, a few months ago, not few months formed. So after that, we worked from 2005 till now. We have grown the party to a certain extent. You know, the political parties are not with muscles here, but we feel that we made a good job until now. Was having around 45 or 47,000 members. We are everywhere in all the governorates in Egypt. So we have a structure. We have been in many activities in that field. I was myself, I won the election against the Watani Party in Giza. I was member of the Shura till they liquidated the two, the Shura and the People Assembly. So since that time, we focused on building the party properly. And then I gathered together the Arab tribes. I'm the chairman of the Egyptian Council of the Arab Tribes all over Egypt. We have many members. And I tried to make a mixing with the party and the Arab tribes, which is succeeding now. I'm making a good job about it. So on that level of politics, I think we have a strong background. Plus, we have added with us a combination with the syndicate of we call it Fallahin, so they're member of the party also, which call it Naqabat al-Fallahin. So then we have made another deviation with the handicapped people. I think that there is more than 16.5 million member of this, not with us, in general, in the handicaps. And we are doing something for them now. I'm trying to create for them something called the bank. It's a bank like the Challenge Bank. And I discussed with many governors to open branches in every 25, 26 branches of that bank and get them the license, but not bank to transact with money. It's a bank to get to collect the studies and to discuss it, and then we get the major banks to finance. So as to give them the feeling that they're well respected in this country and they have all the rights to do something, and we are supporting them till the end. So this is in general a mix of many things together on a very brief time of say.
There are rumors that in case you succeed, you would step down for Sisi. Is this a rumor or is there anything is truth?
I'm there in those elections to win. That's number one. And I want to win properly, with respect, with convincing the people, with presenting something that people will appreciate. I'm not there to make either a role, like some people are saying, or to be a mask for anyone, or to do my job in half gallop. So my task and my thinking is to really go ahead and to present something for the people they respect. And at the end, my aim is everybody goes down and give their votes, because the more people going and giving their votes, it's a better chance for me to have a good reaction here and counter back. So I hope that people go down for the elections. I hope that I can do a job to be respected by people. and I have something to present, something tangible to present, quite different than than the major infrastructure. I want to now switch to different approaches of how to get benefit of what is done already. I'm not here to demolish something existing. I want to build on the existing things, but to build with different approach, with economical approach.
How do you see the political scene in Egypt now? If we follow the foreign observers, some political parties in Europe, they complain because of missing of human rights. They say we miss an active political democratic scene. What would you answer them?
Well, I have my point of view very clear here. First of all, human rights is human rights, and we have to respect it. This is going without saying. But also, I expect that some people, being members of the human rights, to take care of their country and to see that their country is in their eyes. You know, there's this meaning to take care of their country, but not to go against their country and say let's cut the voting and we don't want to have voting in Egypt, and they try to push outside and talk with international countries and giving a different approach. If they think so and they want to change, they go into the election. Why they didn't go into the election? I am in the election now. I wish that there were 4 or 5 others coming in. Why Sadat withdrawn? Why without reasons? Shafiq withdrawn. Okay, Anan was spelled out. Khalid Ali, why he withdrawn? They didn't get the papers, they didn't continue their own papers, or it's a matter of making an international show. I'm blaming them, those people. But I wish they go into the competition and they win elections. If any one of them have good ideas, everybody will respect their move. But the move is to get the country in a miserable situation and to forbid or to push other people not to come into the election. This is not patriotism, and it's not what we're looking for. People that we call human rights, etc., people with brains and people that can give a lot to this country.
If you follow up some foreign politicians, they complain because that around about 40,000 Muslim brothers are in jail. What would you answer them?
Listen, Muslim brothers, this is a case for me. I call it the red line. Why? Anybody whose finger is mixed with blood is not my support at all. I will not touch that. So anybody who have killed or caused killing our young people or did whatever it is, we have judge and we have tribunals, and let's hear what they're saying. But I don't want to have people jailed and they have clean hands. I want the ones who are jailed and judged is the one with blood hands. So this is my idea. So anyone who is not involved in these massacres that happened, I wish him to go out and they have to get a proper re-judgment for them. So this is for sure, but not the one with the blood in their hands.
So there are no people in jail with clean hands?
No, I didn't say so. I'm not sure because I'm not court of judgment, but I think that they have the right to get the proper court judgment, and definitely there is many things have to be clear, and the ones who have are clear-handed, they should go out for sure. But not the blood-handed.
Thank you so very much for this interview. It was a big pleasure for me.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Cannot blame having a mass volume of people in the jail because what happened. But the young people, one who have been taken, not, I mean, they're free or they don't have any blame on them, they should be rejudged properly. I think they have the right to be rejudged. So. And I am against the military or the, how you call it, the military judgment court. I'm against that. I'm with the civilian court. But the one who have killed, and I repeat that word blood-handed, I don't mind. I go to the military court to get a quick judgment about it. But all the others have the right to go to civilian judgment and to be judged and to compress the time, not to leave them just like that.
What is one of the biggest challenge Egypt is faced right now? The explosion of the population, maybe? What is the biggest challenge you see?
If you want my strange answer here, I'll tell you that I think that the population is a benefit and not a disadvantage, personally. Because a country who knows how to function, look at China. China is what, billions? And the strongest economy in the world today? I mean, it's not the problem of the people. It's the problem of how to organize things, how to give them the proper jobs, how to create with different view the life for those people. Then you can make great benefit from the population, not the reverse.
Okay.
That's my idea. I mean, I might be wrong here if you want, but we are not looking for a family with 20 person. No, we have to be logic. A father and mother and 3 or 4 kids, it's okay, but not just open air like that and without strong background. But the country and the people responsible in the country have to focus very well of creating the proper job. And I'm not looking for employee or jobs. My concept is we call it the national
solidarity?
No, the national capitalism. You see, I want the create the national capitalism. I don't want the young people to own land or buildings. I want the government to be owner of the land and the building, with nominal rent. And the others will own shares and function inside, so their money are protected and they can do that. So we want to make this mixing of the national capitalism between the government and the investors. I mean, our young investors here. So I think this will make a big move for the young people, and will give them a lot of chances to make a lot of profits, especially if we export. If we export today, we used to export before the flotation of the pound, when it was 8 pounds or 7 pounds a dollar. Today is 18 pounds. So if we export with the same dollar, and we have a quality of exporting and a good competition externally, so imagine you get around 2 times or 3 times more income from the same dollar because of flotation. So we want to get benefit of what's going on, even though it was a nightmare with this flotation and people are suffering, but we can reverse.
But if you ask the guys who are producing medical goods and they have to import the basic material, they have to pay in dollar or in euro. For them, it's a horrible situation.
Yes, but I think in an industry, a real industry, if you talk about more than 25% of the basic raw material that we need, combined with local things, if you talk about the painting like we have, it's water and sand, and some and basic ingredients, etc. So this is what I'm calling. I mean, you don't need to import a lot. So we have